A warm greeting to everybody who's watching this video. As for instance, you are having a leisure time and you want to go to the park in order to get a fresh air, but suddenly you saw a group of adults lying on the grass and behaving not properly, means behaving in a way that cannot be acceptable in a standard society. For that reason, you determined to explore and find out the reasons that push them forward to act in such a way. What you need to do here is to make a research or investigations. Taking that into account, our topic today is centered on experimental and non-experimental research. I will explain them, each one of them apart. So I'll explain each term separately. First of all, let us start with the definition or the meaning of experimental design. Experimental and non-experimental design. Right? What do you mean by experimental or making an investigation or a scientific investigations? The essence of this process is that you are going to find out by collecting data, manipulating variables through observable and a wise or intensive research about that particular phenomena. What you need and the purpose of this operation is to find out the results and solve figures and resolve the potential problems. The variables that we are talking about are comprised into two different terms or two different kinds. So from experimental research, what we can extract, experimental, now we are dealing with the first term. Experimental comprise of independent and dependent variables. So, independent and dependent variable. What do you mean by independence? Of course, in the preceding example about social standard and how to behave properly, are about those adults who misbehave, and disturb other people by throwing something or behaving in an unacceptable manner. So he decided to search about the variables or the factors that make them behave in that way. So what do you need in experimental research? You need the independent and dependent variable. The former means that the constant variable is the variable that you are going to control without applying treatment to it. So the independent variable is constant. It does not change. It just used to compare between within the result that will come up after you you finish your study or research. When you collect data, you come up with the results. Dependence, on the other hand, is the one that you are going to apply treatment to it, is the one that you are going to change it and use some kind of data or some kind of treatments, just to see the result, how it will be. And then you make a comparison and see if there are some kind of relationships, or if there is a relationship between dependent and independent variable. The significant relationship that you are going to find has to deal with the hypothesis. So you are going to prove or disprove your potential hypothesis. This is the meaning of independent and dependent variable. In order to clarify, I will give you an example. Imagine that you want to do a research about the capability of gender. I'm referring to men and women. So we have two correlation research. We have man and women. So they both refer to gender. So this one, you are going to control it in your study. So you want to make comparison between men and women in their performance, in their language capability or proficiency in the English language. So the hypothesis, you will say, women presumably are better than men in producing word or speaking English in a sufficient way. So here what you're going to do to test your hypothesis by using the independent variable. So gender is your independent variable. Gender is the independent variable, and the result that come up after your treatment means their language proficiency, their performance in producing word is the dependent variable. So the result that come up with their performance. So speaking performance is the dependent variable, because it will change according to each one of them, each capability of your participants, right? This is the meaning of experimental research. It must include a true dependent and significant relationship between dependent and independent variable. Non-experimental research is the opposite. Here is specific circumstance. Means in a non-experimental, I wrote none. So what do we mean? It means there are no experimental research, or there is no experimental research procedure or some kind of treatment, etc. You're not going to include them at all. So what you're going to do here in a non-experimental research, you are just going to have independent variable and make a relationship according to the preceding information. So in a non-experimental research, we have only independent variable. Independent variable. From this one, you are going to control or to make a significant relationship based on a prior knowledge. So, on prior knowledge or information or data. Right? Prior knowledge means you are going to what? Previously exist, that something, some kind of research that done in the past what you are going to do to make a global conclusion and have some kind of decision. So you are going to make a relationship between dependent and independent variable based on a prior knowledge or a prior research study. This is the meaning of non-experimental research. I hope you understand the meaning of dependent and independent variables. I already explained the definition about each one of them, and also I make a comparison between I made a comparison between experimental and non-experimental research. I hope this is useful to you, and I wish you a best of luck on your research or whatever you are doing. Finally, thank you very much for your kind consideration, and see you for the upcoming